Hello everybody, it's Julia here from the Highly Sensitive Tarot. I hope everybody's well in this horrible cold January month. It's been bloody freezing here in the UK. We've had a bit of sleet and snow and it has been really cold. We've had strong winds and storms and it's really quite unpleasant actually. So I'm really looking forward to spring. So anyway, what am I here for today? What am I here for? I'm here to show you a deck pairing, and I just think this is the most perfect winter deck pairing out of any of my decks. I just think they're glorious together, these two decks. This is the Enchanted Forhaxa, and it is also Brian Froud's Fairy Oracles. They're the two decks that I'm using. January for me is a fairy month, and I had picked out 2 tarot decks and 4 or 5 oracles to work with this month, and so far really I've just got stuck on these 2 decks because aren't they perfect? I think you can already see really, can't you, just from these 3 cards here. These are the first 3 cards that I pulled, other than my little deck interview where I asked, what did I ask? I've got my book here to look at because my memory is shocking. So what did I ask? I asked what are your strengths as a deck, and and I only did that for the Forhaxa actually, and the card that I drew for that was Judgment. Am I a little bit too low down for you to see properly? Well, let me leave it there. I think it's better if I put it there. You can probably see it better, can't you? I thought I'd get the camera down as low as I can so that you can see the cards really clearly, but if I pick them up it's not going to work, is it? But anyway, this is the card that I drew when I asked the question, what is your overall strength as a deck? So yeah, that, and I put in my journal, I wrote about that this deck wants you to confront your weaknesses really, and learn to forgive yourself and other people. And I also wrote down, where there is judgment, there is an opportunity for growth. So yeah. So, but other than that, the first reading, the first sort of 3 card pull that I did, or the first card pull that I did, I can't even speak properly today. It's been one of those weeks. It really has been one of those weeks. I wasn't even sure I was going to get this video done. My head has just not been in the right place to make videos. I think you can tell. So I do apologise. Just look at the cards, don't listen to me. So yeah, the first card pull that I did with this deck a couple of weeks ago was these 3 cards. This was the top card that I pulled. This was obviously the oracle card that I pulled, and this is the bottom of the deck. I always take into account the bottom of the deck when I do my daily card pulls. Well, when I do any reading, I always am interested in what the bottom of the deck shows, because I think that it's often the very heart of the matter, or the crux of the matter, or it's just something that you might not even be aware of really. You know, more unconscious things. You know, it could be that this is conscious, this is unconscious. You could look at it that way, couldn't you? But what I drew just made me smile so much really, because we've got the 2 of fire here, which is about making decisions, isn't it? And with the 2 of fire, this is really about making bold decisions, making very determined and committed decisions. And then we have little Indy here in the middle, this beautiful little fairy here. And he is somebody that he's encouraging you to make good decisions and make a commitment to them. Let's just have a look in my book. I just thought that the synchronicity of that, to have the Two of Wands plus Indy. And in the guidebook about Indy, it says wishy-washy, indecision, decision-making. If you don't get him on the wish, you might catch him on the wash, but probably not, because by the time you think you've got a commitment from him, he's swung the other way again. Poor Indy, he can't decide between this and that, or is it that and this? If he just had more information, if he just had some kind of guarantee about the outcome, if only he could be certain about things, well, he can't. And that's how life is. Indy sits on our shoulder as we wobble around trying to make a decision. And just as we think we're about to get it, he mutters, "But what if?" And very likely we dissolve into confusion again. So that's Indy, bless him. And doesn't that go well with the Two of Fire here? And interestingly enough, the Page of Water here is the card that I drew for my January card when I did my year ahead spread. I used the Tarot of the Abyss and I pulled the Page of Cups as my January card. So it was interesting that on the 1st of January, I also drew the Page of Water here with all this indecisiveness, all this energy around making decisions, making good decisions, committing to them, you know, and it made me wonder about whether these are decisions to do with affairs of the heart, my emotional state. But anyway, I don't want to get too much into my private life, but yeah, you can see this was a really, really interesting little reading here, wasn't it? So the cards I've got underneath here are another reading that I did another day, and this just blew my mind, really. This did. Let's push those up a bit. I'm not doing very well here, am I? This just blew my mind, really. Let's have a look in my book what I wrote. You can see I've got the Five of Fire, the Five of Earth, and the Glancona. The Glancona. So what did I write? And this, that's it. This, you just would not believe. On Monday of this week, I got up, and as I do always, I came in. Well, first of all, I had to clear some cat sick up, which I was not very happy about. My cat has been throwing up a lot recently. And then I came into the lounge to do my card pull, which is something that I do first thing really before anything much in the morning. And these were the 3 cards I pulled. And I thought, oh, you know, that's quite a lot of challenging energy, the Five of Wands and the Five of Earth. And this Glancona here, he, you know, he doesn't look the gentlest of fairies, does he? So I was like, ooh. And then I went through to the kitchen to feed the cat and to make a cup of tea, and I discovered that my fridge freezer had just packed up. It had defrosted and it had just stopped working. It was completely dead. And when I realised this, it just threw me into a state of panic, really, because I had quite a lot of food in my freezer and fridge and it had all defrosted. And I was thinking, what should I cook some of it? Can I save any of it? What am I going to do? How am I going to get another fridge freezer at short notice? Because the day after I had my shopping coming, and it just not, and plus also the money. I mean, it was just like, oh my God. So yeah, and then later on in the day, when I'd obviously calmed down and sorted everything out, I'd ordered my fridge freezer, I'd cleared everything up, I'd salvaged what food I could, put things outside the back door where, you know, thankfully it was cold. And then I sat and I looked at these cards and I just thought, oh my God, because reading the book, because while I'm studying a new deck, I do like to read the book, and it said for the Five of Earth and Pentacles, take note of how you handle setbacks, delays and problems. Where can you grow? And the Five of Wands again is how you deal with disruptions, delays, challenges, conflict, aggro. And the glaucoma, I read about him, and I can't remember what I said about him. Was it 62? There we are. So for him, it says illusion, delusion, lust, projection, clear sight. Have you ever noticed that when we really, really, really want someone or something, we tend to see it without clarity? He says his name is Smooth Harry, but that may well be an illusion of his own. The glaucoma doesn't change his shape to tempt us with our own mental confusions and paradoxes. He simply wears a mirror in which we see our desires temptingly displayed. He doesn't try to fool us, he simply allows us to fool ourselves. So the message of this reading, of this card, is that we need to read the fine print, check out the foundations, test things out, consider things, try not to be rushed, take time making commitments and making decisions. And you know, all of this just made me think about the morning I had, because I was completely panicked into making a decision. You know, I needed to order the fridge freezer quickly, and the anxiety that caused, that because I'd ordered it quickly, that I hadn't measured it properly and that it wouldn't fit in the space and that I might have found a better deal somewhere else. And oh my God, it just brought up all of that kind of stuff, really. So the questions that come with these cards are all about considering how you make decisions, considering how you deal with conflict, delays, problems, and how you hold yourself accountable in these times, really. So like I said, I just thought this was really, really interesting as a reading to have pulled on a day of such awful problems. Thankfully, I was able to order a fridge freezer, and it came the next day, which I was just over the moon about, really. So yeah, I don't have any more tales to tell you about my readings. I just thought I'd show you some of the cards now. But I have had so much fun with these cards, and as you can see, they just go absolutely beautifully together, don't they? Look at the colour palette, the actual fairies in the cards. They're just absolutely gorgeous. I just love them. I really do. They're beautiful, aren't they? Look at how lovely they go together. They really are gorgeous. What do you think? I just think they're wow. They're cards that I just feel like I could just stare at forever, to be honest. Brian Froud's book and his cards are amazing, and MJ Cullinane's Forhaxa is amazing. I mean, her artwork is always amazing, isn't it? I've also got the Grim Walkins Curious Cats, and that's another amazing deck. And at the moment my head has gone blank as to what other decks she's done. Yeah, it was Guardian of the Night Tarot and the Urban Crow. I don't have either of those. But I do have the Grim Walkins Curious Cats. Aren't they gorgeous? Do you see what I mean about the colour palette? And the shapes. And just the feel of the cards, really. I mean, look at that, look. The Sun here with the Elder of Fire, the King of Wands, and then Solace here. And the Ace of Fire, look at that, look. So the Ace of Wands, Solace, which is, I would say, the Sun, isn't it? Let's have a look. Solace and the Elder of Fire, who must be the King of Wands. Who's Solace? 13. Solace. Instead of holding that under there. So it's Solace stands midway between the realm of the singers and that of manifest reality. Knowledge, consciousness, synthesis, and spiritual empowerment. Solace is radiant, energizing, and vitalizing. This presence in a reading often indicates that something new is being brought into being in our lives, partly through our own efforts and partly through the help we're receiving from other realms. Miracles may take place. Movement into the light is occurring. This is a time for taking action and passing on our blessings and learning, and for service given from a position of strength. Well, that works really well, doesn't it, with the Ace of Fire and the Elder of Fire here. Wow. The Elder of Air and the Singer of Courage, they have a very similar feel about them also, don't they? Oh, that's a beautiful card, the Six of Water. The Six of Water and the Seven of Water. Wow, with Penelope Dreamweaver. Look how beautiful that is. Do you see what I mean? Just, oh my God. I do hope you can see all these properly. 10 of Water. And the Ace of Earth. The Tower. And the Lady of the Harvest. And the 10 of Earth. Don't they go well together? The Queen of Earth, how beautiful is that? With the Sun and the Singer of Connection. The Knight of Water, the Sage, and the Six of Air. The Nine of Air. The Master Maker. And the Eight of Earth. Wow. Look at this. All these dragonflies. I think that's what they are. They could even be flying ants. I'm not sure what they are. And then all these bees. The World. The Green Woman. And the Three of Air. The Three of Swords. Wow. These are really powerful cards, aren't they? The Eight of Fire. Something gnome. I can't read that. And the Hermit. Let's see what she says about the Hermit here. This is a very different picture than we're used to seeing, isn't it? What does she say about the Hermit? Travelling deep into the forest, you come across a small mountain lake. In the centre is a figure covered in shiny black feathers. Its human-like legs and wings gently rest in the water, and a low chanting sound that calls the glowing fish that surround the rock emanates from their mouth, illuminating the inky water below. This is a place of reflection, a place of solitude. At this moment, you might find yourself questioning reality. Ask yourself if life is indeed as you perceive it. It is in this space of stillness that new ideas take form. The creature before you may not have known you were there, but its presence served as a guide and a reminder that the answers we seek are sometimes in the quietest of places. When the hermit leaves its home in the middle of the lake and comes to visit you, it does so because it is time to travel to a sacred space, a place where you'll be free from distractions, a place where you too can find the answers that are buried within the recesses of your mind. The solution to a situation in need of solving will appear during a time of solitude. Wow. The Nine of Earth, look how beautiful that is. All the pine cones there. Oh look, and we've got like a wolf maybe, and a fox. They're so lovely. I have fallen in love with these decks, I really have. All of the colours in these decks are all colours that I would have in my home. And in fact, when I move home, I shall be decorating in many of these colours. The purples and the greens. Look how beautiful. Who is this? This is called Honesty. Let's just have a read about him, and then I think that will be it. It's card number 40. Where are you? There we are. Honesty. Just look at him. Could you doubt for a moment that he sees you just as you are and loves you anyway? In plant form, which is how we may see him most often, Honesty makes lovely purple flowers in the spring, and later on produces those silvery white circular seed pods like small images of the full moon. These little earth moon seed pods remind us to reflect upon our reactions and feelings, to throw light into our darknesses, and to deal honestly with ourselves and others. Honesty's other botanical names are moonwort, satinflower, silver dollar, moneywort, dollar plant, pennyflower, and on Monday, the moon's day, he is Lunaria annua. He's said to repel monsters. Honesty in a reading speaks unsurprisingly of the need for straight dealing and truth. We need to be scrupulously honest here, making certain there is no room for confusion or misunderstanding, no fuzzy edges. Both written and verbal agreements need to be very clear. On a personal level, honesty reminds us not only to be clear in what we say and do, but also to act and speak with compassion and tact. Brutal honesty is not usually true honesty at all, but somehow slanted towards the worst. Dishonesty, even in the name of tact, is not helpful either. Balancing on that fine line of loving honesty may take some effort, but will provide rich rewards. Honest humility, idealism, and clarity of mind are some of the advantages of honesty. Well, that's a good place to leave this, isn't it? So I hope you've enjoyed having a look through the Forhaxa and the Faeries Oracle. I'm just in love with these decks, and I think that they are just the best winter pairing I've ever seen. So I hope you enjoy them. Do let me know, and I'll see you all again soon.